And today I'm announcing a further £120 million worth of support. But the biggest obstacle is not a lack of funding or texts at the United Nations. It's a lack of political will. Very simply, we have got to persuade the warring parties to protect civilians, to let aid in and across the country, and to put peace first.
Bloomberg's chief Africa correspondent Jennifer Zabasajja joins us now. Jen, well, this war started 2 years ago. It's been going on for 2 years, has been devastating in terms of the humanitarian toll, the economic toll, political, of course. Is there any end in sight at all for the civil war that's been ravaging Sudan?
Right, Jumana. Well, the concern here amongst many experts and groups and aid workers is that this has really broadened out from a war between two factions, really the army within Sudan and also the paramilitary group, the Rapid Support Forces. And it's broadened out to include a lot of proxy players that are, you know, in what many people are saying are accused of aiding in this continued fight. We've seen escalating violence. You were just mentioning there. We've seen violence just over the past few weeks and days that are, you know, creating even more of a humanitarian disaster. And just taking a look at some of the numbers, I mean, 25 million people are facing a humanitarian crisis. The UN says at least more than 3 million people have fled from their homes. 12 million people have had to flee from their homes within the country and sleep elsewhere. And so the concern here is that humanitarian aid is not getting in, but also many of the fighters now in the armed groups look like they are cementing within these strongholds that they are in. We know that the RSF, which is the paramilitary group, still controls most of western Darfur and some other areas. And the army actually controls Khartoum. And so many people did see the army's ability to reclaim Khartoum as potentially an end in sight for this crisis, but it's not looking like that. And just hearing from international players about the role in which they could potentially play, it's looking even more bleak. It really needs to be not just the forces that are fighting on the ground there, but some of these other players that are accused of aiding some of the groups there.
Yeah. And Jen, we speak obviously about this conference that's taking place in Westminster, organized by the UK. One of the primary focuses is to get more humanitarian aid into Sudan. Why has it been so difficult to get the aid into the country to begin with?
Well, you know, if we take again a look at what the UN has said, a lot of it has been bureaucratic discrepancies that we've seen. But also we've seen there's not just the two main armed groups that started fighting 2 years ago, but there's a number of other people who are on the ground who have been fighting. And so the escalation of this violence has become even more pronounced, again, blocking aid into the country. We did see this conference, though. It was co-hosted by the African Union. And as you mentioned in your intro, we did hear that there is going to be more financial assistance, at least pledged from the UK, the EU, and others. But we should also note that we've seen aid, financial aid rescinded, namely from the US and even the UK, which actually said that they were stepping back on providing aid more broadly and focusing then on their defense finances. And so really, it's been a combination of factors. And I think what's important to take a look at the summit that we saw yesterday, we didn't have any of the two warring sides that actually started this conflict 2 years ago invited. It was many of the major players who potentially can talk to some of the proxies who are accused of aiding and abetting in this war. But if we don't have the people who are, again, accused of potentially blocking aid and getting humanitarian assistance to many of the people on the ground, it's looking like this could potentially continue to be what the UN calls one of the worst humanitarian crises that we're seeing in the world right now.